Welcome to the recording for week 7 for game design. You can see that week 7 goes February 18th to February 24th. And since we're in week 7, we're moving along quite a way in the class. We only have a couple weeks left. As far as the weekly work, of course, we have the CTAP test break in there and some things like that. But the bottom line is we have weeks 7 and 8 as far as our content. And I think this class had a week 9 also. But you need to be moving along. We've had roughly 600 points in this class. So if you're not at about 400, then you're probably not passing the class. So you need to get going on your work and get some stuff made up if you need to get it made up. So you can see that this is going to be the last part of the interface unit. So it's sections D and E. And this is the first unit where you're going to download the software for the course, the MMF2 software. You'll download it, and I'll show you how to do that. We'll discuss that a little bit. So for today, of course, watch this recording, complete the Class Connect write-up, and then in section D, genre-specific quiz, an assignment called Foley. I'm going to fix a couple things right here so it's not confusing. Now, 1 second. Just show you how I can edit this stuff. That needed to be down there, and then section E, that needed to be down there. Okay, so that's fixed. So anyway, you can see the work that you're going to be doing, and in this one you're not only going to download the software for the class and work on creating a game, but you're also going to be doing some sound effect activities. So let's go ahead and jump into section D in the interface unit. So here we are in the interface unit. Here's section D. So we're going to look at genre-specific interfaces. So this would be interfaces that are geared towards the type of games that you play. And we've learned about genre already, like sports, third-person shooter, puzzle, those types of genre. But they all have different interfaces, don't they? And the interface is really important with genre because it is the primary factor that can make or break the game mechanics. So that's why interface design for genre is so important, is that it's the primary factor that can make or break the game mechanics. And you see that with the different game interfaces, the genre and the game interfaces have to work together in order to give the person the best feel for the game and the best to build up their interest in the game. So if we go to the write-up, explain why genre is primary factor in game interface design. Well, I just talked about that. And then choose 3 game genre and explain the game interface strategies for each. So right there's your answer for the first one. And what this unit does is it goes through different, look at popular genres we're going to look at, distinguish between the various genre-specific interfaces. So what this unit does, of course, you know the different genre, right? And what this unit does is it goes through each of those and it talks about how the game interface is designed specific for that genre. So for this Class Connect write-up question, right here, you're going to choose 3 different genre and explain the interface strategies for each. Now, I don't want you to just go like this and copy and paste all of that. I just want you to give a couple of items that would be, if you're doing action games, a couple of items that would be specific for the interface for action games. Or if you want to do adventure and role-playing games, give a couple of items in here that are specific for adventure and role-playing games. Down here, simulations and sports games. So you might give a couple of items that are important for simulation games, a couple of items that are important for sports games. So I think you understand what I want. I don't want you to just copy and paste the whole paragraph. I just want you to give a couple bits of information. And again, for that question, you're going to answer just 3 of those. Now here's a little drag and drop activity to see what you know about genre and interfaces. Then you have the genre-specific interface quiz, and as always, I have the preview for you right down there. So those Class Connect write-up questions, those are pretty quick, and this is the one I just talked about. I don't want you copying the whole paragraph, just give me a little bit of information. Okay, so that's D. So now section E, jumping into that. Section E, we're starting to talk about sound. Before we've mostly talked about visual, now we're going to get into sound. And of course, when you're watching a scary movie, when you're alone at home, or just maybe you and a younger brother or sister, then the music really engrosses you into the movie. Can make it really interesting for you. So the movie, the visual part of it that you're watching, and the auditory there are inseparable, meaning they have to go together. So if you look at the write-up question, it says, what two components of games must be combined to give the best game experience? Well, the visual and auditory must be combined, right? So visual and auditory must be combined. So in this section, we're going to look at creating ambience through sound, understanding what Foley is, and creating your first game. A lot of the Class Connect write-up questions are from this section right here. So while developing a game, the ambiance, meaning the sounds and the sights and everything, have to be created so that they immerse the gamer in the gameplay and the world of the game itself. That's the importance of ambiance. So if you go to the write-up questions, see what it said here. Explain the importance of ambiance. Well, I just said that, didn't I? The importance of ambiance is that it must be created in a way that it immerses the gamer in the game and in the world of the game itself. Now, as we talk about ambiance, that's not only what you see, but it's also what you hear, right? And audio, the real importance of audio, there are two things. Audio provides cues for the gameplay and enhances the quality of the game. So that's what audio does. Two things that audio does. So if we go back to the write-up question, explain the importance of ambience, talked about that. What purpose does audio serve? I just told you the two purposes that audio served. Explain one of the best audio strategies for sounds in games. So this talks all about sound. Like people that have auditory impairment or can't hear very well, then they have to be visual cues so they don't miss out on different parts of the game. You could also have a game when you design it that the different volume controls for the dialogue, for the music, and the sound effects. Wouldn't that be cool? So you could adjust those. That would be really interesting. Of course, as an example, like in a racing game, the audio would go up higher as the person is getting closer to you. That might be kind of neat. So there are different things like that. Now, there are also some things in games like voiceovers where people talking, and that ends up kind of narrating the game. One problem with that is that sometimes a game might have the same voiceover that's used many, many times. So then it ends up not being as important for the gamer. It's like if your mom keeps telling you the same things to do all the time, eventually you kind of tune her out. Now, one strategy for games is that the games with the best audio, one strategy is that there are 20 or more different sounds that keeps the gamer's attention. So if I go back to the write-up, the question I asked, explain one of the best audio strategies. Well, it's having lots of sounds for different aspects of the game. 20 more variants of common sounds to keep the player interested. Okay, page 4. Now we're going to start talking about what's called Foley. Now you can click right here and you can listen to this presentation, or you can look at the script. And what Foley is a process where sounds are created in a studio to match the actions on the screen. So you've probably heard of things like that before, where there'll be a horse running down a road in a scene or something, and people can use coconuts and hit them together to make the sound of a horse. Like a car crash, you could shake a metal box full of pieces of metal and chunks of wood. A fire rapidly closing and opening an umbrella, or crackling thick cellophane. A body collision, like two people running into each other, Could be take a stick and hit a pumpkin or a watermelon. Body stabs, a knife stabbing into fruit, such as grapefruit. Now you're going to make some sound effects, and here are just some examples. But if you use one with a knife or something and you stab a grapefruit, please be very careful in doing that. A gun might be like a ratchet wrench, like your dad or your mom might have a ratchet wrench, and you click that ratchet wrench one time and it could be like the cocking of a gun. Gunshots would be using a thin wooden stick like a ruler hit against a leather seat or the bottom of a shoe or something like that. Rattling bushes could be like you could take straw from a broom, could sound like rattling bushes. Water boiling, or if you blow straw into water, it could be like boiling water. So instead of boiling water, you just blow through a straw in water. Lava could be boiling oatmeal. Airplane could be an electric fan, the sound of an electric fan. Pulling apart strips of Velcro could be like somebody tearing clothes. Now I mentioned this to you, all of these things, because the assignment for this unit is to create some sound effects. And here are some examples of how you could do that. Now the program to do it, you could use Audacity, or if you have a school computer like mine, I'll show you. I can go right here, go to All Programs, Accessories, I believe, and then Sound Recorder. So here I could go ahead and start recording the sound, then I could save it. And once you do that, so this is recording my voice right now, and I'm going to hit stop recording. Once you record the sound, make sure you save it as a Windows Media Audio file. So if I was doing a sound here of a horse running, then I would change the name to horse running, then I would save it. And again, you're going to submit these sounds, so make sure you save it in your course folder. So here are some variety of sounds, some sample sounds. You can always go back to this to see what their suggestions are. So that's what Foley is. Or you can also use, as I said, a program called Audacity. You can download that. Just do a search in Google on the word Audacity, A-U-D-A-C-I-T-Y, Audacity, I think, and it's a sound recorder. But in Audacity, you have to do a couple of things to it. I'll try to put up a presentation on how to use Audacity, but if you have Sound Recorder on your computer, use Sound Recorder. Or if you have a recorder on your telephone, you could record sound files on your telephone, but somehow you'd have to be able to submit it in the class. Okay, back to the write-up. Describe what Foley is. We just talked about that. And then, have you downloaded Multimedia Fusion? Yes or no? Well, after we get past this Foley slide, so this talks about Foley. So here's your assignment. You're going to create 5 sounds using the ones that the tutorial showed, like the previous screen had about 8 or 10 examples. So you'll create 5 of those. And then you're going to do one extra file of a sound that you create yourself. A sound that they didn't have listed that you create. So it could be the sound of broken glass, and you could go out in your garage and you could probably, maybe it's the sound of a shattering window, but you could maybe take a jar and put it in a plastic bag and let it hit the ground, and maybe that could be the recording for a piece of some glass breaking or something like that. And you're going to save, it says save as MP3 files or as the Windows Media file. As I said, that would be fine. Or you could use Audacity. Now, in this one, the one you're going to create for yourself, you're going to explain how you made that sound. So explain what it does. Now, also, when you turn this in, so you'll turn this into the Dropbox, you'll turn in these 6 different sound files, but I want you to just type in the Dropbox what your different sound files are. So it could be, car crash. So you'll list 5 of those sound files, and when I listen to your sound, then I should be able to tell which is which. Downloading Multimedia Fusion. So in this assignment, you're going to go to this link right here, download Multimedia Fusion. And once you download and install it, then you open it, So you open it, and it'll take you through a tutorial called Choco Break. And Choco Break, it'll demonstrate for you how to create this game called Choco Break. It's important that you do this because this is going to be the practice for the graded assignment. So you download Multimedia Fusion, work through the tutorial creating a game called Choco Break, follow the steps exactly. Or you can go to Help, tutorial from the Help menu to do the Choco Break game, and you'll create that. Then once you create that, the final assignment for this unit, we're not doing the discussions, as always, we skip those. Final thing for this unit is you're going to create your own game. And it can be sort of like the Choco game, but don't make it look like it exactly. Like instead of fruit, you might have cats and dogs that drop down and you try to catch them. And again, this is a very easy, very simple game. You're just creating a game where things fall from the sky and you catch them and things like that. But it needs to have a start screen and a high score screen, and the software will show you how to do those things. Create your own background, and you could use some self-made sounds. So here's a tutorial on the Catch the Fruit game. So you can work through this tutorial on Catch the Fruit when you download Multimedia Fusion. And when you work through that, and here's the PDF. So here's the PDF of the Catch the Fruit game. So you can see the basics of this. This guy's running across. He's trying to catch fruit. So that's tutorial for Catch the Fruit. But then you're going to make yours different from the Catch the Fruit. Okay? Now you turn it in. You turn in the MFA file that creates when you do your game. Do not turn in the EXE. So you just turn in the MFA file. Okay, so that's the end of all of this work, the end of this unit. But you can see there are important points here. You're doing the Foley, the sound activity, and you're doing the downloading the software, doing the tutorial game, and then creating your own game. So quite a bit of work in this unit, but this unit is worth about 160 points or so. Okay, that's all I have for you. I look forward to your work coming in. Thanks, everyone. Bye.